Okay, this video is a comedy review of the comedy album by Sam Kinison. And here's the cover of it, Sam Kinison there. It's called Live from Hell. It was actually released posthumously in 1993 after he had died, I think in around 1992. And it's he's got several comedy albums. Sam Kinison is the funniest comedian who ever lived. I mean, for a married guy, probably my favorite marriage joke comedian would be Rodney Dangerfield. But in terms of just being the funniest guy, Eddie Murphy was magnificent back in the Delirious and the Raw days. But the 1980s was sort of like the cultural peak for comedy and for comedy movies, too. These are some of the tracks on this album. It's about an hour long, 54 minutes. I was listening to audiobooks in the car, and, when I moved, I got all my stuff all over the place, and I just had to go for my next audiobook. After I finished one, I read one on AFib, and then I came across Sam Kinison, Live from Hell. I kind of like to listen to these comedy things before I'm writing a book or I'm going to give a lecture or something, big lecture, because Sam Kinison, he's the best comedian who ever lived. His voice changes very rapidly from soft to loud, from slow to fast, his cadence. He's the master of it. And, some of the things like I missed the Joan Rivers show. Again, obviously saying I effed up. I missed the Joan Rivers show. Nobody cares. They're a bunch of old people on Depends diapers. And obviously he says it much funnier than I ever could. He talks about the Pee Wee incident in the theater, and he recommends execution for Pee Wee. I mean, you have to hear him say it. I'll put the link in the description below to Sam Kinison, but I would say also for a young person, if you want to learn how to do public speaking, if you want to be a better writer, you should be studying the comedians, because you'll hear all these videos about how to give a better presentation, how to give a better speaker, be a better speaker, a better writer. But you know what? If you want to be a better writer, you should be a more entertaining person. If you want to be more entertaining, then watch the funniest guy of all time, Sam Kinison. You'll learn a lot from these guys. You just sort of, if you watch their comedy routines, I used to watch their comedy routines and memorize them verbatim from start to finish. And I wrote down and summarized all their comedy routines because I loved all this stuff. And I used to say it all to my friends. But nowadays, you got this BS with this hand, that they're outraged by anything that's funny. And, they don't have the moral high ground. They want to destroy the whole place. But I'm just saying is, for a student of writing, presentation, acting, entertainment, why wouldn't you want to study the funniest guy who ever lived? So what else did he talk about? He talks about JFK and Marilyn Monroe and the Russians and Khrushchev. Very patriotic, and he says things in there, how much he loves America. America's the greatest country in the world. And that's how we all were. We all thought that way in the 1970s, 1980s, and even the first half of the 1990s. And then all this big push came after that for all this opposite of that stuff, He hates rap, makes fun of rap, cable TV. And his recommendation to solve the homeless problem was execution, okay? So obviously it's a little crazy, but the way he does it, it's funny. So anyways, I'll put a link in the description below just so you get a sense of it. This is how America was, because the younger generation has grown up, and America now totally hates men, and it hates white Christian men more than anyone else, and it's just anti-survival, anti-family, anti-everything that sustains life. So I just want you to see more and more, study this old stuff, and you get a sense of how America used to be, and also the funniest guy who ever lived, Sam Kinison.